Welcome to THORChain. THORChain is a DEX that enables you to swap Bitcoin with thousands of other cryptos, all layer one native tokens. No bridges or wrap tokens are used. You can trade all from within your self-custody wallet. There's no KYC on THORChain. It's permissionless. THORChain's token is called RUNE, R-U-N-E, and you don't need to hold or buy any RUNE to place a trade on THORChain. However, all the fees on THORChain are deducted from your swap, and that's used to buy RUNE. And this RUNE is a yield that goes to the liquidity pools and nodes. There's no block rewards on THORChain, no inflation. 100% of the yield is real. THORChain has another token called TCY. This token is like a preferred stock where 10% of the revenue goes to these token holders. If you deposited crypto into savers or took out a loan on THORChain, make sure to claim your TCY token so you can start collecting this yield. And anyone can buy this token too and collect a yield as well. To swap on THORChain, we've got our new site live, swap.thorchain.org. Check it out, play with it. New features and functionality will be added over the next few months. If you find any bugs, please report it to the email address on the site. Rajira is building decentralized Binance on THORChain's smart contract layer. It's being rolled out as we speak. And speaking of Binance and other sexes, if you hold any RUNE on these centralized exchanges, withdraw them into self-custody because it can be used to short sell and drive the RUNE price down on yourself. And once in self-custody, you can look at bonding your RUNE, start earning some yield on it, and you help secure the network. There's the THORChain community Discord and Telegram that you can join to learn all about THORChain and make friends. To find the links, go to @THORcommunity on Twitter. That's their handle. Guys, if you're listening, please repost this space, get some other listeners in here. And I'll do a quick intro of myself and then Ray, but like I'm a node operator on THORChain. I hosted Twitter Spaces here with Patriot and every Saturday, and we're doing a special one today for Ray Youssef. And normally, Ray, I would ask you to introduce yourself, but I want to introduce you for you because what kicked off this space was D-Daddy Bio, one of the Unstoppable devs. He wrote a post about you, which is such a banger, and so I want to read it out loud for everybody, and then you can add to it if we miss anything. But so his post goes, "B. Ray Youssef, born in New York City, son of Egyptian immigrants, grew up broke, even homeless at one point. 1999, launch a ringtone startup, aka Napster of ringtones, get millions per month, discover a problem of unbanked teens can't pay, build social media platform without ads, disgusted as turning into proto OnlyFans, rage quit, spend 7 years as MMA fighter and spiritual wanderer, come back to tech, fail a few startups, leads to dark rabbit holes into health, politics, history, science, the Quran. In 2014, broke, homeless again, learned to sell PayPal gift cards for Bitcoin on LBC, realized gift cards equal the world's first digital bearer instrument. With this idea, he builds Paxful, the local Bitcoins for Global South. Teaches Nigerians to bypass economic apartheid with gift cards. Bitcoin adoption booms. Paxful hits 88 million per year in revenue just by word of mouth. Builds 11 schools in Africa, 13 worldwide, because everyone eats. Department of Justice and US compliance nightmare. 88 compliance staff, which is greater than most banks. This leads to 4.5 million in user funds frozen. The co-founder embezzles, blows 40,000 a week on parties, booze, and hookers. Ray offers him 87 million to walk away. He refuses, sues Ray, locks up payments, wallet goes down. Ray personally saves it in 11 days with no sleep. Ray still walks away with nothing. In 23, Paxful implodes, users are stranded. Emergency launch of NoOnes. The vision is the WeChat of the global South. Gift cards, crypto, OTC, jobs, services, messenger, non-custodial wallet. Radical transparency. There's a CEO dashboard that's public. 50% of the revenue goes back to users and schools. The mission, onboard 1 billion users in 5 years across Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the Commonwealth of Independent States. Self-styled war chief, building decentralized nation for free people. West doesn't want Africa to be served? Fine, I'll build my own tech stack. Welcome, Ray, to the space. Do you got anything to add to that?
Thank you so much for that, brother. Yeah, there's a few things in there that I could add, things I haven't really mentioned anyone, but we'll get into it as we go along.
Well, sure. Well, as we go along, then, do you want to maybe tell us about NoOnes? Can you maybe expand on that, like what it is and what you're doing there?
Yeah, brother. So after Paxful blew up, even though I walked away with nothing, I'm not starving. I live a pretty good life, and I was kind of happy in retirement, and I wanted to stay in retirement, but I really couldn't because all these traders were really without a place to trade, especially in the gift card business. And we had to do something. So I did something, but I didn't want it to just be a place for people to trade gift cards because gift cards were very valuable to onboard the global south, but it really is a very troublesome business. I wanted to be a lot more. I wanted to be a place where we could set an example for what we should be doing. Over the next 20 years, humanity is going to encounter a complete upheaval of our culture. There's going to be massive black swans everywhere. We've already encountered them. It seems we can't go 6 months without something blowing up and a new psyop revealing itself. So I don't care what the bad guys are doing. I care about what we can do with our own hands. We
Mm.
still don't have a platform where we can trade universally, especially in the global south, in places like Africa. And everyone involved in crypto just doesn't seem to be interested in setting that standard, in rebuilding civilization and giving us the tools that we can work off of. Everyone just wants to make their buck and leave. So NoOnes is basically the world's first decentralized nation state. Because when you think about it, governance is about money. 99% of governance is about money. Who makes the laws for parking or where your dogs can poop? These are local concerns. It really is all about the money flow. Every village in the world usually starts with a temple and a market. And the temple is really there to make sure that there are ethics in the marketplace. So it literally is all about the flow of money and commerce. That's the lifeblood of civilization. So if you're running a marketplace, you have a tremendous burden and also a tremendous opportunity in this responsibility. You can show people how to make the money flow and how to represent people properly. So, the traders on Paxful, on NoOnes, they're really our citizens. They're more than our citizens. They're really like our House of Representatives and our Senate. And I would go all around the world and meet with these brothers. I'm actually going to go to Ghana in a small town called Tamale up in the north, where literally it's an enclave of the best peer-to-peer traders in all of Africa. And these brothers have been sitting around their round table and they've been making all these plans because, these big exchanges like Binance, they don't want anything, they're not really serving the peer-to-peer traders. They don't understand how unique it is and how involved they have to be to actually serve these communities. So they want me to come in with NoOnes and give them a real place, a real home. So they're all sitting there and planning, and I'm planning with them, and I'm going to go meet them. They really are our governance body. It's these traders. These are the guys that make the money move on the streets. They don't work for the government. They're normal people just like us. Most of them were unemployed students that just got their start with peer-to-peer training, and it completely changed their lives. And we're all getting together as a group, kind of like those evil bankers did on Jekyll Island to plan the Federal Reserve. Well, we're getting together as a group and we're plotting and planning on how to blow peer to peer up and make the money move all around the world, starting in our little corner of the world, starting with the first country in Africa that declared independence, which is Ghana. I'm giving this as an example to show how you really need to work peer to peer. It essentially is governance. NoOnes is the world's first decentralized nation state. Everything I've done on there, besides just building a marketplace, is to set an example. My CEO dashboard is public for the entire world. That's a value I call radical transparency. There's no other company in the world that does that, that literally shares all our stats, things that only the CEO would see, with the entire world. I also believe that everyone eats. This old American corporate structure of, just returning money to the shareholders by any means necessary, that isn't going to work in this new world we're building. I believe everyone eats. So 50% of our gross profits goes back to the community in many different ways. I've built 11 schools, and I'm going to do a lot more than that, and especially when giving the money back to the community. That will have tremendous benefits, and the world will start to recognize that soon. So there's a lot more to this, brother, but NoOnes is really the start of us doing things right, of setting a standard of excellence and success and getting everyone to copy me, because I don't want to be the only one doing this, believe me. When you try to do things like this and try to empower the global south, especially places like Africa, to use their money, that's when you put your neck on the chopping block. That's when Uncle Sam comes after you. The higher the monkey climbs up the tree, the more people can see his butt. It's an old saying from Zimbabwe. And I don't want to be the only one going in. I want to have a massive landmark success because I want everyone coming into this space with me. I want marketplaces to pop up all over the world, and I want them all to be connected. That's what we need, an unstoppable series of marketplaces that just will not end, doing the kind of governance that our leaders should have given us, but they cannot because they're too corrupt, too cowardly, or too stupid. So we're doing it. NoOnes did it, so NoOnes will do it, if that makes sense.
Totally, man. Absolutely. Dude, I couldn't agree more. Um, so when you say there should be, or you want to see multiple marketplaces pop up around the world, are you saying you want multiple no ones pop up around the world, or you want to see is no one's kind of like the aggregator of all these different marketplaces?
NoOnes is a global marketplace, except for the United States, for obvious reasons. And there's marketplaces that can be local on NoOnes, and of course, people can use our platform. But honestly, brother, I don't mind competition. I want everyone to come into the peer-to-peer space. I want everyone to copy me and copy my model and build marketplaces that can't be stopped.
Hmm.
That way, if something happens to me, it keeps going on. It just keeps happening. If you see people in business, you see everything as a zero-sum game. That is not the way, brother. What I'm talking about is nothing less than creating billions, billions with a B, of jobs. That's what I'm out to do. That will make the whole world a lot richer. That'll give us endless options. Instead of one city like Dubai, imagine 100 cities like Dubai all over the global south. That's the kind of world we have, especially with the technology that we have now, if we just put people to work.
Yeah.
Africa's 1.4 billion people. Over half of them are young. And more than half of those young people, actually 70% of them are young, and more than half of them are unemployed. That's like 600 million unemployed young people in just the African continent alone. What happens when we put them all to work? We all get richer. So yeah, bring it on. Everyone copy me. CZ copied me. He did a deal. All people don't know this story. We did a deal. We did a deal. He wanted to use one of our components to bring off ramps onto Binance, and he wanted to buy the company. He wasn't shy about putting that out there, and he was really pushing hard. And he gave me an offer. It was a lowball offer. He didn't really value the company much, and I understood why. But he basically did that deal with us to get our users and to get to figure out how our system worked, and he just copied the platform. And I was like, cool. I didn't want to sell to him though, because I didn't want another centralized entity to run peer to peer. I really wasn't interested in the money, but he copied it. He created Binance peer to peer, and I'm glad he did, because they've actually done a really good job. I really am, and I'm glad for all the other peer to peers. Then CZ tried to recruit me actually to lead Binance Africa for an insane figure. I won't say what it was, but I rejected that too, and I just went ahead with NoOnes because I like CZ. He's a buddy, but he doesn't have my same outlook on things.
Oh,
I'm not just in it for the money. I'm in it to fix the money.
For sure. When you say peer-to-peer, is it are you talking about peer-to-peer like doing fiat transactions or peer-to-peer in crypto or both?
Well, both really. So how it started was, I'll tell you the story. So
Please.
I was homeless in New York about 11 years ago, and this was before Paxful. It was a real hard point in my life, and I was homeless. I ended up homeless for almost 6 months. And a friend of mine, noticed how haggard I was. I was always dressed well, though, because a lot of people in Sutton Place on the east side throw away some really nice clothes. I was always wearing nice Bergdorf Goodman trench coats, which I found in the trash, by the way. And one of my friends notices, "Hey, man, you're looking a little haggard, bro. Maybe you need some extra money." And I said, "Yeah, what's up, man?" So you gave me some alpha, and he said, you can sell gift cards for, like you can buy a $500 PayPal My Cash gift card for about 250 bucks in Bitcoin. I thought it was a scam, but I tried it with my last money, and I did it on local Bitcoins, and it worked. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I scaled it up, got an apartment, and I was like, this is a money machine. Then I really started to figure out what gift cards could actually do, and that's when I built Paxful. But
Wait, can you slow down? How was that not a scam? How are you getting to 100% profit? How is that legit? How is that working?
great question. I wonder the same thing, right? So let me outline the
Sure.
situation for you.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's take Nigeria, for example. So if you want to send money to Nigeria to your cousin back home, or your family member or your brother, whatever it is, people will go to Western Union and say they sent $100 via Western Union to someone in Nigeria. They would get the naira, the local money, at the official price set by the central bank. And the official price of what one naira is worth to $1 is always much, much worse than the black market price.
Hmm.
For example, the Central Bank of Nigeria will say, $1 is equal to 1,000 naira. But according to the black market, it was almost 2,000 naira to $1. So if you sent $100 to Nigeria with Western Union and you got the official price, which you always do, the person on the other side would get like 1,000 naira, right?
Hmm.
And then I proposed something different. I said, okay, so your brother over in Lagos is getting 1,000 naira for that $100, and he has to go to an office, you know, maybe far away, pick up the cash, wait on a long line. It takes 2 days to clear for those international transactions. Here's a better way: go to a drugstore or a gas station and buy a gift card, Amazon, Walmart, whatever. Then come onto my platform, and you can sell that gift card to someone any in the world. Most of them were in China. And even if you give that person a 50% discount on the price of the gift card, you will get that crypto instantly. And then you can turn around and sell that crypto to someone in Nigeria for a bank transfer and make a profit. Sometimes anywhere from, in the early days, it was 8 to 20%, because people really wanted the crypto. They were hungry to get it, and they had no way to get the crypto in Africa because it's impossible to send money out of the country. So you can see there, because of the official price compared to the black market price in all of these global South countries, especially places like Africa, you can sell a gift card for 50% off and still do so much better than if you sent it at Western Union. Because you sent it with Western Union, the guy on the other side would take a 50% haircut and go through a whole bunch of trouble and wait. If you send it with crypto by selling that gift card, you'd actually get the same price, but it would be um, it would be faster, and you could turn around and sell that Bitcoin and make a profit up to 20%. So you can see it's not a scam because of the real scam, which is something I call economic apartheid.
Yeah.
In Africa, nothing works. And if it does work, it's always basically a scam. Who's taking that money? It's the central bank that is keeping that money, or Western Union that's keeping those dollars. And the person on the ground literally gets half as much. They take a 50% haircut on every transaction that comes into the country. And even sending money within Africa is even worse. It's often about 5 times more expensive to send money inside of Africa than from the outside and into Africa. That's why it's not a scam, brother, because the whole world of finance is basically a much, much, much bigger scam, if
Dude,
that makes
it makes
sense.
perfect sense, and I totally hear you. And this is something I've always wondered is like in my mind, crypto. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think crypto should be like super widespread in Africa by now. Like is it? Like is are people adopting
Oh,
it and
yeah.
picking it up, or is it is happening?
No, it's huge. It's happening, brother. Most of it is peer to peer. So, Nigeria leads the world in crypto adoption, and that's a country I really focused on hard because when I went to Nigeria and I met the people there, I was impressed. I was like, wow, everyone and their brother has a fintech startup here, extremely bright, ambitious people with huge financial problems. Like the financial system is broken by design. So I pushed it really hard there, and the Nigerians just went for it. They went for it hard. Like I'll give you another use case. One of the first people that I really onboarded into this was people who sell cars. People like these Nigerian brothers would buy a car in America, a 1986 Land Rover or something, and then they buy it at Detroit Manheim auctions, ship it over to Nigeria, and then sell it for double. But then the central bank said, "Hey, you know what? We're stopping. You're not allowing anyone to send U.S. dollars out of the country. So how could that brother in Nigeria pay that auction house? They had no way to continue the business. The business was effectively shut down. So I told them, hey, no problem, bro. I'll show you how you can buy crypto. And once you have this crypto, you can literally sell it to someone in America and ask them to pay the invoice for you with their bank account locally. And at first, the Nigerians were calling me a scammer. They're like, man, there's no way this works. But you know what? I took some chances. I gave people some of my money just so they would see that it would work. I lost a lot of money actually, but man, the ones that came through tremendously and it spread like wildfire. And then all of a sudden, you had all of these import export guys, especially the car guys in Nigeria, that all jumped into crypto. And they saw that it wasn't just, a way to invest in meme coins and gamble, but it was actually a proper means of cross border exchange. So that's how it really blew up, just with a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and education on the ground, sacrifice. But man, Nigeria is the biggest crypto economy in the world. In fact, in 2023, the official crypto volume in Nigeria was about 60 billion. And that's counting all the official stats from exchanges, et cetera, that they could get. But the peer-to-peer volume in a place like Nigeria is at least 10x more than that. That's over $500 billion that's flowing in Nigeria and Western Africa, just with peer-to-peer. And it's not all happening on exchanges like mine or all the other peer-to-peer exchanges. That's only a fraction of it. Most of it's happening in person, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, through peer groups. It's literally the biggest business in the world, and most people have no idea. Unless you go there on the ground, get into that community, and then my goodness, your eyes will open.
That's amazing. It's actually I can corroborate your car story because I'm friends with a VASP in Cayman, and I was talking to the guy the other day, and he's being asked to speak at some like I don't know some kind of car conference or something because there's these dealerships and that whatnot want to be able to start taking payments in crypto because they're getting demand for people to buy vehicles and stablecoins, and it's only because they had no interest in crypto. They keep getting asked about it, and the dealerships want to make money, so they're kind of being forced to look into it. Um, and like you said, it's from people around the world wanting to buy cars and stablecoins. So man, that's pretty cool. So like well, it's kind of good then in a sense that you have to go on the ground to know what's going on. Like then that means the network is truly decentralized. Like the powers that be can't stop everyone using WhatsApp and Messenger and coffee shops and whatnot, right? So that's great to hear, man, that it's like it's real. That's real grassroots decentralization right there, because that's ultimately how we're going to win.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
They won't be able to stop it. Do you know when? So okay, are they trading fiat for Bitcoin or fiat for stable coins? I've heard stories that the global south is actually, they're more interested in US stable coins versus Bitcoin. Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah. So, like on all the other peer-to-peers like Binance and Bybit and OKX, it's like 99.9% stables, USDT usually. And so now USDC. But on my platforms, on Paxful and now on NoOnes, 90% of it is still Bitcoin. Because I was a Bitcoin maxi for so long, I guess it rubbed off on the folks over there, and they're still taking the Bitcoin. In fact, most of the gift cards are almost all Bitcoin. USDT is growing, but Bitcoin still has a lot of leverage there. They just got used to it. That's, because Bitcoin really came to a lot of people's rescue in the early days before there was USDT. There's tremendous volume happening on. That's how we got the first crypto into Africa. If it wasn't for the because the gift card trade is really what solved the problem of getting Bitcoin into the global South, especially Africa. There's no other way to think about how, like in the beginning, I was trying to figure out how we're going to get crypto into Africa. They have so many problems with money. Crypto can help, but man, there's no crypto in Africa. There was no crypto in Africa 11 years ago, like literally none.
Hmm.
And it's so hard to get money out of a place like Nigeria or Africa, right? How are you going to pay for the crypto to the Chinese or to the Europeans or Americans? Whole multinational corporations are created just to extract value from Africa, but they don't do it with the money system, as that's purposely broken. They do it by extracting resources. So I only had two options. Either I buy $10 million minimum order of cacao beans from Nigeria, ship it over to Rotterdam, and I couldn't do that because I was homeless at the time, or just freshly unhomeless. Shipped all that over to Rotterdam, and then turn it to euros, sell it, and then buy crypto and sell it and send it to Africa. No, instead I used gift cards, and I trained an army of people to, instead of get their remittance for services or just family remittances with Western Union, switch over to gift cards. Sell the gift cards to the Chinese. Even if you take a 50% haircut, you'll still come out ahead because you'll make a 20% profit afterwards, and you'll get it instantly. And it just blew up. $60 million a week passed through that one corridor. And it was so powerful that so many people in Africa started switching over to remittances of crypto. And I attracted some really unnecessary attention. The DOJ did not like that. They started investigating my old company, and they didn't like the gift card trade. They thought, they thought all Western Africans were scammers. And they thought this whole thing with gift cards was money laundering. And they wanted to put us in jail. And I had to sit there in front of these guys, in front of like an official hearing, and explain these things to them. No, Africans are not trying to embezzle or launder money with a $50 gift card. They just figured out that it's an easy way to send money. And the reason is because of the extreme capital controls that, by the way, are affected by the financial policy of this government. And the people are just struggling to find a way around it. It's perfectly clean money, and they found a way around it. And they're still taking the haircut, but they come out ahead and they can transact so business can continue. Because guess what, guys? The banks don't work over there. This is the way they have to do it. And that was my life for the past 8 years. Pretty wild.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. I love it. I love your drive, but I also love hearing that the adoption there is real, and like people are gravitating
Yeah, it
towards it,
is.
doing it, and that's amazing. Um, so okay, I noticed on the NoOnes website, you've got a Visa card there. Is that the like the gift card you're using, or is this a Visa card like EtherFi? Like you can load it with crypto, then go spend it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the latter. It's just a Visa card, a debit card that you can load with crypto and spend. And that's something people want. People want off ramps to the crypto. So no one's, in order for it to be successful, it can't just be a peer-to-peer marketplace of crypto to fiat. That's actually a very specialized niche, and training people on how to be a merchant in that respect is quite difficult. It takes a lot of training, but it changes people's lives. Believe me, it really does. It's like the best side hustle in the world. But what about all the people that have simpler problems or simpler ambitions, and they just want to do a trade? They just want to use it like Revolut with crypto. We also serve them as well. So we can also
Nice.
off ramp people to bank. People can off ramp from crypto to a bank account, to Momo, and now a virtual debit card. It's quite useful.
Nice. I noticed on your site too, you've got an OTC desk. How does that work?
The same way all OTC desk works. It's the same thing that happens on the platform. The entire platform is essentially OTC. So basically, someone can go on there and you can say, "Hey, I have 10 million naira, or I have 4 million Ghanaian CDs, and I want to buy crypto with it," or the opposite way. I have crypto and I want to get resources or fiat in somewhere in Africa or Asia, Vietnam, etc. We help them with that. We give them the white glove service and help them with their transaction, find a counterparty, smooth out the transaction. It's a value added service that we use ourselves for all of our corporate needs, and a lot of our customers are corporations as well. So it's extremely useful.
Okay, great, cool. And this was actually so part of self-serving why I wanted to chat with you and introduce you to THORChain was seeing if there's something THORChain can do to help you, because this is everything you're talking about is what we're trying to build at THORChain, to basically help bank the unbanked. And the only thing THORChain can't do is fiat. But pretty much, any kind of trading you want to do within crypto can be done through THORChain, and any platform can integrate it. So like NoOnes, you could have THORChain integrated in your background, and no one would know. Like you don't even have to tell your users it is THORChain. You can just pawn it off like it's your own exchange. But it's all layer one tokens. Like it's no wrapped tokens, and we can do Bitcoin like UTXO chains, where a lot of these dexes can't. And THORChain really is decentralized. Like, there's no censorship on the trades or transactions. So like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Changely or Change Now. Like it
Yeah.
drives me nuts that these wallets they integrate these quasi centralized platforms, and then they freeze people's trades and demand KYC, and then the person can't provide the KYC, so they can't access their money, or and if they can, it might take months before they can do it. And this is a real problem for people in the global south, because they're excluded from the financial system because of their KYC, right? And and all these other dexes purport to be decentralized, and they're not. And THORChain is the one true decentralized one, and the best way I can like demonstrate it to you is that you remember the Bybit hack that happened in February?
Yeah.
That billion of ETH went through THORChain, went from ETH to Bitcoin through THORChain, and back 5 times, like 5 billion of volume. And it didn't go through Hyperliquid, it didn't go through anything else. It went through THORChain because it's the only one that can do it uncensorable. And nothing, no one's, we at the time the community was pretty, everyone was a bit worried because THORChain is still small, relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Like Bitcoin and Ethereum get a pass because they're so much bigger and they're obviously decentralized. But because THORChain's smaller, there's still a question mark. How decentralized is it? And I think that was its test. The ultimate litmus test that no one went to jail, no one got in trouble. Everything moved, and so this is why I think THORChain is doing what it can to provide an uncensorable, open, utilitarian, egalitarian exchange for anyone in the world to use, regardless of where you live. And so this is why I wanted to, part of the reason I wanted to chat with you today is just help introduce you to that we're on the same side, we're on the same team, we're trying to work towards the same goals. So if you ever have, if you have interest in integrating THORChain into NoOnes, let me know. I can put you in touch with the devs and help you, help you do it. But we're doing what we can to help further your vision too. Our community have the same ideals. So yeah, man.
Definitely sounds like it.
Yeah. And then NoOnes as well too. You can add in your own commission on top of the trades if you want. So you guys can make a bit of money, or not do it. It's totally up to you. Yeah, man. But right now we've got 10 different blockchains. Solana and Tron are coming. So it's pretty soon you'll be able to pretty much trade like 99% of any crypto through THORChain, through DEX aggregation. So yeah, it's coming. Real freedom is coming.
Wow, yes. THORChain sounds like an amazing product. In fact, the guys over at Unstoppable love THORChain, and they're building an entire atomic swaps on THORChain, and we're actually going to be switching over our swaps to that. So we're already on it, brothers. Soon,
Oh, there you go.
our swaps are going to be running through THORChain. We're coming.
There you go, man. Yeah, I love the Unstoppable guys. They're great.
They're the best. Yeah.
They're building the front end for THORChain,
Right.
the swap.thorchain.org. That's the Unstoppable guys. And yeah, and they're also building a DEX aggregator for us too, which they'll also use themselves and for people like you. And yeah, I love their vision. They want to add in the atomic swaps to it. They're like, it's really good first principles thinking. I love it. That's great. I'm glad you guys are in touch. That's awesome. Ray, I want to open up to questions here. I invited someone up named Corey. Corey, do you want to unmute yourself? Do you have something you want to ask Ray? Give me a sec, Corey. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Qoreeb. I can't see the rest. I'll give him a second to sort himself out. If anybody else wants to jump up, ask Ray a question, any comments, please feel free. We've got about another 15 minutes here. Ray, while we wait for that, is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't touched on?
I could talk forever, brother, but lately everyone has been asking me, all these media outlets have been asking me about these custody plays.
Oh, the DATs, the digital asset.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. We all want to know about that, and I've been opening up on that, man, about what that actually is. So, if you want to talk about that, I can.
Yeah, man, rant. Yeah. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, so everyone's worried about it being a Ponzi, and if all these people try to pull out at the same time, the whole house of cards will collapse. And that's just a superficial concern. And to me, it's not. I mean, yeah, it would if everyone tried to pull out at the same time. That definitely would happen. But the real question is not if it could happen. It's the fact that we gave them the power to do that, because we basically handed over the keys of price discovery over to people that got us into this mess in the first place, over to the huge multinational funds like BlackRock that essentially own half the corporations in the world, over to the people of the WEF, over to the central bankers and all their proxies. We gave them our one best tool, which was Bitcoin, which was a solution to the financial problem and the monetary problem as well. Because the financial system and monetary system are two separate things. The financial system is how you use the money, meaning the rails, and the monetary system is the money itself, meaning proof of work instead of proof of weapons and debt. And we basically handed them over both those things in exchange for more fiat gains. That's sad, because it's proven just by looking at the gold and silver markets on the forex, that if any centralized entity owns even 2 or 3% of an asset, that they can literally suppress the price with a few paper shorts, on the market every morning through all these derivative instruments. That's what they've done with gold and silver. And now we're giving them the keys to do that with Bitcoin. And it seems we want every crypto, every blockchain or every token is welcoming in these same guys in the hopes for a few gains, short-term gains. Well, the truth is Bitcoin is not even keeping up with inflation anymore. What got us to this point was commerce and retail adoption. And in an extremely short-sighted and outright idiotic, narrative shift, we've abdicated all of that, for number go up. Quite sad, brother. So that's the real concern. It's that we've handed away the keys. It's not, oh, what happens if everyone tries to sell their Bitcoin at one time? I mean, if they can control the narrative so well to get them to this point, and you're worried about that, you're missing the whole point. That's basically it.
Do you think there's a chance that these DATs and stuff might be bad in the short term, but could they be good in the long term, that it helps introduce Bitcoin and crypto to normies and helps like kind of normalize crypto, make it more like I've had conversations with people who they don't think crypto is a scam anymore. They think it's real, it's here to stay, and they're starting to take a look at it and take it more seriously. Do you think it could maybe have could there be some positive take from it, that it kind of helps legitimize crypto in people's minds?
No, not at all. There's no positives whatsoever. Because look, I understand the argument, right? So these people that are now starting to take it more seriously, who are these people? These are people that, might run pension funds, a lot of huge money there, right? They're people that have already wed to the system in an extreme way. The people that don't really have a need for honest money. They don't even care what honest money is. If they did, they would have known by now. These are people that also have no need to be able to move money around, because most of them are already in the golden circle of Western finance anyway. So they don't benefit from the monetary or financial revolution that crypto, Bitcoin, and DeFi gives us. They're just like, oh, Big Brother thinks it's okay, so let me buy a little bit and hold on and diversify it, my 401k and, my S&P 500 and, whatever other bullshit they were into. That is not how a revolution looks like. That is, I don't know what you would call that, but it's certainly not progress, brother. That's not what we're trying to do here. So, yeah, it's giving us some attention, but you can see, where is it actually leading us?
Yeah. So do you mind touching on your journey with Bitcoin? I know you've had at first you're a big proponent. Now have you had a bit of a falling out? Are you still a proponent of Bitcoin, or do you look at other cryptos? Yeah, can you maybe fill me in there?
Yeah, bro. I'm not a proponent of Bitcoin anymore. I mean, the reason I was everyone thought I was a diehard maxi because, I was part of this maxi cult. And it wasn't that at all. I just was pushing Bitcoin because we need to, business works when you put all of your juice behind one thing, one idea, one market, and you start like that. That's how you get traction. As a natural business builder, I've had 14 startups in my life. I know that's the only way to win. So I'm like, okay, all these other coins coming out, promising whatever. Okay, that's nice, whatever. But we have a real proof of work, honest money here, and we have, a financial system here as well, where we can send money as easy as sending email. Let's focus all our energy on getting this out the door first. That's why I was so pro Bitcoin, and both those things have really been taken away right now. Honestly, yeah, Bitcoin is still technically proof of work. But now, basically, these central bankers, these huge funds and multinational corporations, can essentially control the volume of currency of Bitcoin in the ecosystem through these paper short contracts. That completely invalidates proof of work, actually. And I know the maxis are screaming right now, no, well, they need to shut the fuck up and get an education. Central bankers have made it very clear. The real power in any economy is who controls the volume of currency in that economy. I have like 8 liters of blood in my system right now, in my body. If you had a magic button that could take it down to 1 liter, I'd be in shock, pale white on the floor, unable to move. If you had another button that could take it up to 20 liters, heart failure, I'd be a bloated mess, also on the floor. That's the power that they've had with all this fiat. We just basically handed over that power to them with Bitcoin. They may not manifest that power too quickly, but believe me, they have it. It's in their back pocket. So we've lost that. We've essentially lost proof of work. And as far as being able to move Bitcoin around and use it, people say, oh, it's not so much the limitations of Bitcoin as far as the blockchain. Yeah, the on-chain transactions are lower than they've ever been since inception. And Lightning is a piece of shit. It was designed to fail. It was a stillborn technology in the area between retail adoption and actual industrial, high level volume usage, like from industry or nation states that have been sanctioned. Doesn't serve that. So what is Bitcoin actually good for? If it's not proof of work, it can't actually be used to move money around, especially because of all the limitations that are being put through all these centralized exchanges. It's just a savings mechanism for as long as the price holds. It's not even keeping up with inflation. So why am I going to be pro Bitcoin anymore? Especially because I know the bad guys took over and the community, just went along with it like donkeys. Extremely disappointing, brother. I don't give a damn about the tech. What makes any revolution is the people. In the beginning, the Bitcoiners were the smartest, most gung ho sovereigns around. And now they're just a bunch of droids. So I'm out of that camp, bro. The war chief holds it down and keeps it real. That's it.
Nice. Yeah, the Bitcoin maxis it's been quite frustrating. I feel like a lot of them have turned into fiat maxis. Well, okay, so I hear you and all that stuff. Is there a crypto that you are positive about? Like is there one that you think that you did that
Absolutely.
you
An
did?
arrow.
Okay, there you go. Okay, right on.
An arrow for the win, my good man.
And can people access Monero through NoOnes? Like is that actively?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They can trade it peer to peer. They can buy it on a spot. Unfortunately, they can't withdraw it from spot, but they can buy it, sell it on peer to peer, withdraw it. Everything. Yeah. We're fully Monero enabled.
Do you have any?
Man can't save your thing.
Did you follow that? Is it Cubic or Qubit? That whole
Yeah.
51% thing, and it was like I don't know if that was FUD or not. I didn't follow it that closely. Did you follow that? Do you know what happened there?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, it was FUD, but it actually wasn't FUD, if that makes sense, or it will in a moment. What that whole situation actually proved was that there's a big flaw in proof of work, even though even the 51% attack doesn't have to happen with the nodes. It can actually happen with the mining pools. That's what that whole thing proved. It's, with the control of the mining pools, you can actually 51% attack a network in that way. That's what that whole mess proved, basically. And Bitcoin suffers from that as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that
So does every
implications for
proof of
Bitcoin
work chain.
too. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
They chose Monero as the first victim. Uh, why? I guess they had real incentive to do so, but Monero is by no means the only possible target. They can take Bitcoin down with the same attack. It'll just cost them more, or any proof of work based chain. So in regards to Monero, it was FUD, but man, we got a problem, bro.
Yeah.
We really got a problem over here. But they're just letting us know what they can do. They always do this. They let you know what they can do to you to keep you in line. Watch it, boy. It's that kind of thing.
Well, I'm glad we've got people like you fighting back. Um, Ray, this has been great. I apologize to any of the speakers that want to come up. I think we should wrap it up here. Ray, I really appreciate your time coming up and chatting with
I
us.
got another hour, bro. Who wants to ask questions? I'm ready.
Well,
I'll take over the whole interview, man. I want to hear it.
I have to go. I apologize. And I actually, to be honest, I didn't know how long you would give us. So that's why I only booked this for an hour. Would you be down to come back for like we can actually normally when we do these spaces, we'll go for 2 or 3, sometimes 3.5 hours. can we book another one with you, and we'll do that. We'll just have a longer form one and give you as much time to talk as you want. But this one I gotta go. This one we gotta hang up.
Absolutely, brother. I'm always here for you. It's been great.
Okay, awesome, great. Well, yeah, we'll get in touch offline, set something up. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Ray Youssef, it's been great. Love chatting with you. Been a fan of yours for a while. I love what you're doing with NoOnes. All right, everybody. Normally we do our spaces on Saturdays. So this Saturday we've got Chad Barraford is going to come up, give us an update on THORChain and the code and everything he's doing. The following Saturday we've got the Litecoin community, and I promise we'll figure out something here with Ray, another for him to come back and talk longer with us. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.